Welcome in to Check the Mic. Steve Palazzolo, Sam Monson, live on a Tuesday morning. Sam, we got a bonus show for everybody because we're just about a week away from the draft. So why not a bonus show here, Sam?
Yeah, extra content as we get to draft time.
So yesterday I did a first round mock draft. We figured why not just tack a second round on top of yesterday's first round. We're trying to do this a little differently, not the 3-hour marathon. We're trying to go like first instinct here. Do you think I could keep to it? Do you think we could keep to it with good discussion, but condensed, right? We're trying to knock this out in an hour.
Yeah, probably not, but we'll see.
Probably not. We'll see what happens. That's the goal, at least. So let's just get right into it. Yesterday, I did my first round mock draft. It was a hybrid of a little bit of what I would do, a little bit of predictive, a little bit of trying to get into the headspace of the GMs, have all of that poetic license. So let's go through what we have yesterday. Browns are on the clock here at the top of the second, but why don't we go through the mock draft sim here over at pff.com and see what we did yesterday.
Yeah. How do you want to do that?
I'll read through it and you could scroll. So I went the traditional Cam Ward at the top for the Tennessee Titans, Travis Hunter to the Browns, Colorado wide receiver / corner, Abdul Carter went with the edge to the New York Giants. I settled on the Will Campbell pick for the Patriots at 4, the LSU tackle. Went with Mason Graham again for the Jacksonville Jaguars and Ashton Genty, the running back out of Boise State for the Raiders. So kind of chalky through 6. Amron Membu, maybe also chalk pick here for the Jets at 7. Went Mike Green, the Marshall edge rusher for the Panthers at 8. Saints at 9. This is where Shedeur Sanders came off the board. We had a lot of debate. Should he fall? Should someone trade up? Went with Sanders to the Saints at 9. We had some discussion about the Bears at 10, maybe trading up. Bears fans didn't love this pick. Will Johnson out of Michigan. I love the player. I love the depth. I love the need for corner there for the Bears at 10. Even though they have corners on the team, I think they're upgrading. Jalen Walker was the edge rusher at 11 for the San Francisco 49ers. Dallas took Tetaroa McMillan, the wide receiver out of Arizona, at 12. At 13, Miami Dolphins took Kelvin Banks Jr. Today's news, Jalen Ramsey asking for a trade. I may have rethought that and gone corner there, but I still love Banks and the fit there for the Dolphins. Colts at 14, Tyler Warren, the tight end. Falcons at 15, Donovan Ezeraku, the edge out of Boston College. Arizona Cardinals at 16, University of Texas wide receiver Jahdae Barron. And then the Bengals at 17, Walter Nolan, defensive tackle out of Ole Miss. Seattle goes with Jihad Campbell, the linebacker out of Alabama, at 18. Bucs at 19 go with Shamar Stewart, edge rusher out of Texas A&M. Broncos at 20, Matthew Golden, wide receiver, Texas. Steelers 21, Kenneth Grant, Michigan. Chargers go back to Michigan. Colston Loveland, the tight end, at 22. Kentucky cornerback Maxwell Hairston to the Packers at 23 because the fan site said that's probably the guy they're going to pick, so I believe them. Vikings at 24 go wide receiver Emeka Ibuka. Debated this one a lot. Do they go with another receiver? They did it. Ohio State tackle Josh Simmons to the Texans at 25. Rams at 26, Trey Amos, the cornerback out of Ole Miss. The Ravens get Derek Harmon, defensive tackle out of Oregon, at 27. Lions take Michael Williams, the edge out of Georgia, at 28. Washington Commanders take Malachi Starks, the safety out of Georgia, at 29. Javon Ravel to the Bills at 30, the cornerback out of East Carolina. James Pierce, Tennessee edge rusher, to the Chiefs at 31. And then the Eagles at 32 go Josh Connolly Jr., the tackle out of Oregon, to be their developmental tackle to sit behind Lane Johnson. So that was the mock. Like I said, a little bit of what I like. I see the Hairston comment. I kind of, bought into the Packers fan site, doing the history of they like the fast guys and let's eliminate these guys and top 30 visits. I bought into it. It was fun. So here we are at the top of the second round, Sam, with the Browns on the clock. What do you think so far? How'd I do?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's certainly the first half of the first round was pretty much the consensus view. It's like the chalk mock draft at this point. I mean, obviously, Shedeur Sanders is a bit of an X factor, but I think now it's becoming more consensus that the first place he's likely to go is the Saints at that pick. Couple of fallers maybe that made the second half kind of interesting, but certainly I think the first half is what the standard mock draft is starting to look like now.
All right, so we'll get into round 2 here. Comments in the chat, no way the Falcons take Ezeraku over Nick Scorton and James Pierce. There's no way. For the no way guys, this is for you, the no way people. If you think no way something's going to happen, that's why you email us. Check the mic at the33rdteam.com. Let us know all the no way this is going to happen stuff, right? Let us know. Put your name to it, please. Not just in the chat. Put your name to it. If you want to put up a little collateral, if you want to put up some coffee, we'll put up some Check the Mic merch if you get it right. And if we accept it, we're doing that on tomorrow's show. Dane Brugler at 10 a.m. And then we're going to go through all of your draft bets and predictions. So we'll go through all that tomorrow. So email us. Check the mic at the33rdteam.com. There's the email right there. All right. Ready to go, baby? Let's do it. Browns, pick 33. We have a Browns 3-round mock that's going to drop later today as well. So all sorts of extra Browns content. I do know they will be hearing some trade offers here. We've talked about that quite a bit. I think in this, I'll make the pick here. Anybody that you like right off the top for the Browns?
Yeah, so we gave them, or you gave them, Travis Hunter, right, at the top of this draft.
Yep.
So that's kind of wide receiver / cornerback depth ticked off. They have sneaky bunch of needs, this team. I think offensive line needs some reinforcement. Defensive tackle would be interesting. And then Omarion Hampton being available at this spot is intriguing as well, because I think they need a starting running back at this point.
Hampton is very intriguing. I had some no way Hampton drops before 20 comments too. If you're one of those people, feel free. Email us in.
Way.
Hampton is still there. I might just take him, though. I might just take him as one of the top players on the board, even though the Browns have 2 more picks, and I do think they have that offensive line need. They have a massive running back need, and I'll just say he dropped here, and I'll do it. Let's take Omarion Hampton here for the Browns at pick 33. I'm going to try to keep up. I got to keep up on my own end here. Omarion Hampton. Giants are on the clock now at pick 34. They took Abdul Carter the first time around. So we have no quarterback yet. We have quarterback discussions to be had here for the Giants. Do they want to go with their developmental guy? Do they want to go Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe, whoever that might be? This might be the spot. PFF still very low on Jackson Dart relative
Tyler
to the
Shuck is the current name du jour.
There's rumors that Tyler Shuck is going to go top 40. Well, forget rumors. Our friend Nick Underhill, Saints Insider, said, I'd be shocked. So, whatever he's hearing around the league, he said, I'd be shocked if he gets out of the top 40.
Yeah, I mean, so you've got a bunch of people that think Jackson Dart is a first-round player. You've got the rumors that Tyler Shuck is more popular throughout sort of NFL circles than the public. And then you've got the Jalen Milroe was invited to the draft thing. And that usually indicates that a guy's going to go fairly high, because they don't tend to want the Will Levis guy sitting in the green room thing to happen to these kids. So 3 quarterbacks there who are all available now at the top of the second are potentially sort of strong first day one consideration.
Should we just throw a big curveball and just throw Milroe in here because of the invite? Milroe to the Giants to learn from Russ. People love Milroe, the kid. They don't love his accuracy and consistency as a passer.
Right.
So, all right, I'm going to pick a quarterback. Yeah, maybe I should have taken one with the Browns. I understand. I think if I'm the Browns, I really might grab 2 later. We had that discussion before. Like, I'm going to grab Dylan Gabriel and Kyle McCord and let him go. That's what I'm doing later for the Browns, just so you know. That's our quarterback decision there later for Cleveland. Giants, let's just go Jackson Dart. Let's go Jackson Dart. He's my QB3. Dart to the Giants here at pick 34. So they got Abdul Carter and they have Jackson Dart. That puts the Titans on the clock at pick 35. So you got Cam Ward. Last time we did this one, Sam, last time we did a 2-round mock, we looked quite a bit at the receivers for the Titans. I think pass rusher or receiver for the Titans makes a lot of sense here. This next group of receivers, Luther Burden, Alec Aomanar, Jaden Higgins, Jack Besh, Jalen Royals. There's a group that's solid there. Available edge rushers. So that's Nick Scorton being there is really intriguing too for me. Fringe first round type of guy. Any defensive tackles that make sense. And Braden Swinson on the edge. Darius Alexander is still here. you have any thoughts on the Titans, which way they go? I think there's a couple need positions where the value is going to be pretty good for them on the turn here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the value is pretty good. Luther Burden is going to be, I think, a pretty intriguing prospect for where he goes. Like his 2023 Luther Burden tape is like a top 10 player in this draft. Obviously, he fell off, and even in addition to falling off, some of the sort of biggest concerns people have are, attitude, on-field attitude. Like, did he kind of give up, right? Did he check out of these games mentally? Did he kind of bail on things when it got tough? And is that a concern for teams, going forward? Because like as a dynamic playmaker, Luther Burden has abilities that not many receivers in this draft have.
All right, let's do it. We're going Luther Burden the third. We got a weapon for Cam Ward to go with Calvin Ridley. Luther Burden to the Titans at 35. That puts the Jags up. By the way, if the Patriots, who got their tackle, if they're looking for receiver help, we've had them highlighted as a team that could want to trade up here, do the opposite of what they did last year where they traded down. I'm not going to do trades right now just for time's sake, but I think they are a team potentially looking to trade up on day 2 here. Jags up at pick 36 here after going Mason Graham. I still love that pick for the Jags at number 5 overall. They could add another receiver. I kind of like the I still love the cornerback value here for several teams, including the Jags. Spoiler alert, Benjamin Morrison drops in some of these mock draft sims that other people do, and that might happen in the Browns 3-round mock that we pre-recorded last night that comes out later today. But I would be happy with Benjamin Morrison this high at the right here. The other part, Jaden Higgins staring me in the face as a compliment to Brian Thomas Jr. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting wide receiver room the Jags have. Obviously, Brian Thomas Jr., I think, is a potential superstar, if not a superstar already. They have bodies in that receiver room outside of Brian Thomas, but they're not ones, I think, that would stop you drafting somebody at the top of the second round that you think could upgrade the group.
Man, I kind of want to do this is going to kill the Patriots draft here. They're looking for receivers to drop. And in the past, I don't know if we've gone this route, but I think that's interesting. What about the other one, offensive line, guard, guy like Donovan Jackson here for the Jags? Just make sure I'm pulling them up. Let me see. Is Gray Zabel still on the board? He is. And Booker.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so I had Zabel fallen quite a bit. I think that could be a pick here for the Jags. They have Ezra Cleveland, you have Patrick McCarry, you have Robert Hainsey. Maybe maybe they feel okay and creep back to toward average world here. Let me see. I mean, receiver is really sticking out to me here, Sam. Let's do that. Do you have any other thoughts?
Which one? I mean, wide receiver all the way through day 2, I think wide receiver is going to look like great value for everybody.
Yeah, give me Jaden Higgins to complement Brian Thomas Jr. on the outside. More size, somebody Trevor Lawrence to throw it up to. Receivers coming off the board now with some receiver-needy teams coming up. So Higgins to the Jags at 36. It puts the Raiders on the clock at pick 37. Raiders took Ashton Genty first time around. We've talked a lot on the show on the corner value, specifically in the second, but specifically for the Raiders here at pick 37. I also suggested with Jalen Ramsey, by the way, on the trading block, I would be calling if I'm the Raiders. I would be interested in Jalen Ramsey because they're not in a full rebuild, right? They're not. They've said we're not in a full rebuild. It's kind of the way they're putting things together. They've gone with Geno Smith as their quarterback. They probably need 2 starting corners, I would say, or they could at least upgrade both spots. If they trade for Jalen Ramsey and draft, say, Benjamin Morrison right here, I'm loving that. I mean, I said even in the first round, if they picked Will Johnson in the first round, trade down, pick up Will Johnson, trade for Jalen Ramsey, boom, that corner situation looking much better right off the bat. I'm leaning corner here, and my favorite guy available is Benjamin Morrison. So I think that's what the only other consideration might be, some of those defensive linemen. Anything else I'm missing here?
I mean, they're one of those teams where any impact playmaker on defense finds a home in this defense. Like, they have the room.
All right, give me Morrison. Going Benjamin Morrison to the Raiders. That puts the Patriots up on the clock. So they got Will Campbell. Do we draft another tackle/guard and Gray Zabel? You double up on the offensive line if you're the Patriots?
Yeah, that would be interesting. Like, Gray Zabel's one of the players that's kind of jumping out as value at this point who might stop you drafting a wide receiver.
So it's a value play. It's a little bit of a hedge. I mean, I don't think Zabel's playing tackle, but you're still going to try Will Campbell at tackle. Zabel has guard or center potential. It's not like they have great depth anywhere else on the offensive line. You would be the next pick for New England's picks. They have 69 and 77. So there's still, like, you're not going to have a Gray Zabel type available there, but you could have a Jalen Knoll available there realistically. Maybe not with me drafting, but you could realistically have a receiver that you would feel good about. I think you might go value play here in Gray Zabel. I don't think there's not too many mocks right now. I don't think that have New England doubling up on offensive line. So let's do that. Gray Zabel to the Patriots. They go with the value play here and doubling up in the trenches for the Patriots. That puts the Bears. So this is one of the more interesting parts of the draft. I'm looking forward to this next Friday night. The Bears, little sandwich here. The Bears having 2 out of 3 picks. They went with Will Johnson to the angst of Bears fans that they took a corner. That was probably the most negative feedback that I got from yesterday. Reasoning being Will Johnson, Kyler Gordon re-signs Jalen Johnson. Always a believer. You can't have too much depth at corner. You can't have too many good starters. You need to have 3 good starters. Will Johnson coming in to compete with Tyreek Stevenson, I think that's good for the squad. Maybe they could have gone defensive line. There is a defensive lineman here. Nick Scorton still available. Landon Jackson still available. Do they have a safety need with the Jaquan Brisker injuries? And I think everybody's expecting the Bears to take a running back with one of their first 3 picks here. I'll probably lean that way with the second one. Grab the best running back available. But for now, Nick Scorton looks like pretty good value here, Sam.
Yeah, solid addition. Weird kind of body type and weird body type story with, playing at 280, a rough 280, playing at a better 280 before, and potentially now being like 255, 260.
Yeah, I think, and he's still young, had really good production at Purdue, kind of took a step back last year at Texas A&M. I think Darius Alexander, another interesting one, but look, they've done a nice job, I think, with getting the roster back in shape. Let's add another piece to the defensive line here. And then I think I'm going to look at the running back group with their second pick. So I'm going to go. Did I have Swinson ahead of Scorton, though, in my rankings? I did, huh? Should I throw that curveball? Braden Swinson?
I mean, I love Swinson.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go Swinson instead of Scorton. I know I had you do the analysis on him and everything. Going Braden Swinson from LSU, the edge rusher. He's kind of, he was pretty explosive, had some power, just plays the game pretty well. Just plays the game well. I like Swinson. I don't know if he's going to go this high on draft night, but starting to see some more believers in Braden Swinson from LSU. So Saints are on the clock at pick 40. You guys, of course, you're all going to let me know how I'm doing. Let me know in the chat who you like, who you don't like. We'll react in real time, by the way. Draft night. Don't forget, we're here all draft night, Thursday night, Friday night. It's what we're doing. Check the mic, hit the subscribe button, do all the things so that you're with us. Saints at 40. They got Shadur Sanders in the first round at pick 9. Looking more and more like that could happen. Any thoughts on the Saints here, Sam?
I mean, a lot of needs kind of all over the place there. That offensive skill position players. Wide receiver is interesting because if everyone's healthy, I think it's a really good group. But if everyone's healthy is a massive caveat for them now. Running back, you've got like Alvin Kamara is still there, still looking pretty useful, but that, you need a succession plan at some point. Defense, I think, is still on the interior in particular a fairly glaring need. Like Darius Alexander would be a natural fit for them, I think.
Yeah, I think one of the trench plays here. Why was that a bad? Like, I got to respond really. Well, why was that a bad pick for the Bears? Braden Swinton. He was edge 7 for me, edge 6 for you, I believe. Why was that a bad pick? It's a good pick. Defensive line getting just loading up in Chicago. All right, Saints. Darius Alexander. I like that as a potential option. What about maybe Donovan Jackson from Ohio State too? If we think about some O-line flexibility, maybe step in, play left guard for Nick Saldiveri. Could go O-line here for Shadur Sanders. Tyler Booker's still out there. Actually. Who's so Tyler Booker. We got Kellen Moore coming in. I think Booker could be a good fit here. Still on the board. Good pass protector out of Alabama. Powerful. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're going Tyler Booker.
All right.
Guard out of Alabama. 47 now on the PFF board, it looks like. So Booker to the Saints. All right, Bears fans. You're back up on the clock at 41. What would be a good pick here? You let me know. You let me know what you want. You're telling me your defense with Will Johnson and Braden Swinton isn't getting better? You tell me they're not getting better? I like the Caleb Johnson fit. The suggestion from Walt. Another corner.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going running back with your with their third pick.
Do I go Scattaboo?
I mean, if you're sticking to your board, you would. You had him third, right?
I did, but I would. Bears fans will riot. It would be awesome for them, but
you've already upset them with 2 picks. You might as well go with the third.
We have a shout out for an offensive tackle. Safety is a suggestion. The top tackle on the board, Ariante Ursary from Minnesota. One of the top tackles on the board, Donovan Jackson, the guard / tackle, maybe. I know, in your world, from Ohio State. Let's see. What else do we have here? Anyone else? Tyler Booker, by the way, was the last guy from the top 30 or the top 32 on the consensus board. So that was good value there for the Saints. Man, D-line. I mean, in my heart, Sam, a Darius Alexander edition here. Like, you're going to tell me the Bears, we got enough defensive linemen. We got enough defensive linemen, thanks. We don't need that. We don't need any more of those guys. I think receiver's a sneaky option as well for the Bears. I mentioned that yesterday. Have we not thought about receiver 3 for the Bears? I'm on record saying receiver 3 is more important than RB1 on your team. Said that years ago. Do you have any thoughts here? Caleb Johnson's not too slow. I don't care what his 40 time says. He's not slow. Watch him run away from people in the Big Ten.
I mean, I think you're going running back. It's just a case of which one.
I'm not going to do I think Scattaboo's available later. He's going to go later. Other people are going to. Give me Caleb Johnson here.
Do you like Caleb Johnson in this scheme?
Yeah, they run everything, but they run a lot of wide zone type stuff, always like mid zone type with Montgomery, with Gibbs. I think he's a great mid to wide zone runner. I think he's outstanding at that. They run everything. So the scheme, they do everything. So give me Caleb Johnson to the Bears here.
Done.
I don't care. I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever heat. Jets at pick 42 now. Took Armand Membo to step in at right tackle. I think they're always going to be in the developmental QB market. Would this be a Jalen Milroe spot? Milroe to back up Justin Fields? Or do you just keep building the foundation here with the new regime?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if they're not taking the quarterback in the first, they're probably not taking one in the second for a while.
Scorton still available. Maybe just go back. I think we go back to the trenches here. Darius Alexander to go with Quinnen Williams. I don't think they're too redundant here. I don't love Darius Alexander as a one tech. I think, I don't know. Are they 2-3 techs in the same system potentially? Not sure that's a huge deal. I think defensive line depth here for the Jets. I see the question for receiver, but I feel like new regime, new GM, you got Muji coming in, you got Aaron Glenn coming in. Start in the trenches and work your way out. Jermaine Johnson and Will McDonald, 2 edge rushers there. Currently, you got Quinnen Williams and pretty much nobody. Like Leonard Taylor, who I loved, but he's a UDFA with some off-field questions. I think defensive tackle might be the way to go here. Scorton or Darius Alexander? That's the question for me. Anything else I'm missing? I mean, you could consider the receivers, but I think there's going to be enough depth there. We're starting to run out of defensive linemen that we like.
I think Landon Jackson is an interesting name at that spot as well.
Yeah. By the way, Tyleik Williams as a run-stopping nose or run-stopping defensive tackle next to Quinnen Williams is intriguing. I just don't know if I want to. Like, I don't think he's got as much pass rush juice as some of the other guys here. Give me Darius Alexander. Scorton keeps falling, and Landon. I know you liked Landon Jackson quite a bit. He grew on me as well. We did our edge rankings last week. Let's go Darius Alexander. So now just a very responsible draft by the Jets. Going offensive tackle, defensive tackle, get the value positions, get the trenches rebuilt there for the Jets. Niners are up on the clock here. Pick 43. They went Jalen Walker. Still have so this is interesting, Sam. They still have a defensive line need. Could they double up at edge even though they already have Nick Bosa? Is that too much by bringing in Scorton? They're that depleted there.
I mean, they could. I don't know if that's where they would go. They've got a lot of needs. I mean, I think they just need to actually tick off all these various needs they have and hope that they draft good players.
Yeah. They are, I've called them one of the most important. This is one of the most important drafts, right? I think they hit some players last year. Defensive tackle looking bleak. This could be a good Tyleik Williams spot. I could see a double up on the defensive line for the Niners. Let's do that. I'm going Tyleik Williams. I like that fit for the Niners. Right now, currently have Jordan Elliott, Kevin Givens, Evan Anderson, who's got some run-stopping chops, but they need depth on that defensive line. I think Tyleik Williams is a good fit here. Solid value. That's what we're doing. Jalen Walker and Tyleik Williams on the defensive line now for the Niners. Cowboys up on the clock at pick 44. Went Teterow and McMillan at pick 12. This is where Scorton's going. This is where we're getting the edge rusher. Feel free to jump in if you have any thoughts at any point.
I mean, we gave them the wide receiver. Running back is value at this point. Scatterboo for them. Offensive line is tough because it depends on how they view the players that they've got. I mean, they're question marks, but I don't know that they're question marks that they're going to think they need to address. But defensive line, either interior or edge, is a need.
I think Scorton makes a lot of sense here with DeMarcus Lawrence moving on. You got Parsons. We're going to kick Lucrative. You're out of the chat. Get out of the chat. He's trying to say, can we discuss that Trayvon Walker is better than Aiden Hutchinson? That's like, you got to ban him.
mean, the only way he's better in that he has 2 working legs.
He's played more snaps last year. You beat him in snap count. Yeah, let's go Scorton here. I love that value for Dallas. I kind of like that draft for them. You'd feel good about that if you're the Cowboys. 2 potential first-round picks. That happens a lot, right? Players rumored to go in the first, and you get them in the second. Feels pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
The next day.
Yeah. I mean, when the Lions ended up with that draft, would they end up getting Brian Branch as well? Like, people viewed Brian Branch as a first-round player. The Eagles last year with DeJean as well, 2 first-round players, 2 first-round corners.
All right, we got the Colts up on the clock here. Before we get into the Colts, reminder again, draft night. We're here live. Check the mic. We're going to start at 7 on draft night. So draft starts at 8, unless it's changed. Pretty sure it starts at 8. We'll start an hour early, 7 o'clock, and we're going to be live the entire time, 7 through midnight, 11, whenever it ends. I forget how long it takes, round 1, because you just kind of go. Then we're just going to press stop and then press record once again. We're going to go right away and recap everything that we just talked about in more podcast form. So it's going to be great. We're going to be there for probably, I'm guessing, about 7 hours Thursday night, probably 8 hours on Friday night, because we'll do the same thing Friday night. We'll start an hour early, go through all of rounds 2 and 3 live with you. We're just hanging out, watching the draft. And then right after that, we'll recap day 2 as well. So lots coming up here. Check the mic. Be sure to subscribe so that you get alerted. And don't forget, set your reminders. Draft night, you're with us, right? As your first screen. And then you can have NFL Network and ESPN, whoever else as your second screen. We're screen 1. Colts up on the clock. I see some people asking for another edge rusher here. We got a new scheme coming in, Lou Anarumo. The linebacker class is a little top heavy, I believe. Jahad Campbell, I think, is a clear first rounder. Carson Schlesinger from UCLA. I really like that fit and value for the Colts here. I think we may have done that. Did we do that the last time we did a 2-round mock? So I don't want to be too redundant here. I mean, are the Colts the team where we just always pick Tyler Warren and now I pick Carson Schlesinger in round 2? Maybe. But I really like that fit here for Indy.
Yeah, I mean, we gave them their one glaring need with tight end in the first round. Outside of that, this roster is actually in very good shape. They basically need depth and future proofing.
They are. Edge rush. I'll tell you what, the edge rush group is interesting, right? You brought in Latu last year. I don't know if Kwity Paye is going to be there beyond this year. Samson Ebicam. Like, if they went, I think I had Landon Jackson rated higher, but if they went with like a Princely, Uman Mielen as just a designated pass rusher here,
yeah,
I'd be interested in that. I also I might just do that just to mix it up, right? Let's just mix that up. And the linebacker thing, I told you yesterday, I still have it in my head. They're going to trade for Jermaine Pratt. We're going to flip like a 6 for Jermaine Pratt, familiarity with Lou, and put him next to Zaire Franklin, and we're good. Let's do Princely here. So you got the technical Latu on one side and Princely and his Gumby bendability on the other side. How about that? That's the Colts. Yeah, let's go Princely to the Colts. It puts the Falcons. Man, the Falcons could have doubled up at edge with Princely. Falcons at pick 15 went with Donovan Ezeraku out of Boston College.
Never happened.
It would never happen. Safety is starting to become pretty good value here. I don't know where the league has Kevin Winston Jr. from Penn State coming off of his injury. He's up to 29 on the PFF board. I think he's up close to 50 on the consensus board. Maybe a little lower.
Xavier Watts, 37 on the PFF board.
Xavier Watts. I think safety is a common second-round play here for Atlanta. The other question is, do they double up on the defensive line? Where would I double up, though?
I don't know if they double up given how many young players they already have there.
I know. If you add Ezeraku to all the youngsters that they brought in last year, that's what, 4 defensive line draft picks in 2 years. Now they were all 3rd round or later,
Right.
but there's at least something to build around. I've heard a lot of people mention receiver for the Falcons. I'm not sure exactly why. I'm not saying you're never set at a position. I hate using that terminology, but I think they're going to use their limited draft capital on the defensive side of the ball in Atlanta. Wonder if Schweschinger's a play here.
Yeah, linebacker would be interesting.
I see people begging for corner. I don't know about these corner fits here for them. So linebacker, Caden Ellis.
Still on the board.
Emin Warrior still on. Did I forget about him? Emin Warrior. I mean, Watts might be a better football player, but that's a different story. My depth charts are all screwed up here. Everything I'm looking at. Let's go Emin Warrior. Wow, PFF dropped him bad, huh?
Yeah.
Let's do that, Nick Emin Warrior. Yeah, let's do that. South Carolina safety. So we're loading up on defense here for the Falcons. So they got Ezeraku and Emin Warrior. I think that's good value there at pick 46. They got a lot of safeties ahead of him. Cardinals at pick 47. So we went Jahdae Barron in the first round. Landon Jackson sitting there as a defensive line option. This could be a good spot for Donovan Jackson if we need some O-line help in Arizona. Or are they the next team?
They still need defensive help at every other level. Like we gave them Barron to take up the one level. I think you could still add an impact player at any other spot, essentially, and that guy would start for them.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, edge rush to bring in Josh Sweat, Baron Browning, Zaven Collins, BJ Ojolari, Landon. I mean, we're talking Jonathan Gannon, Eagles. You literally can never have too many defensive linemen. We kind of took a shot by going corner in the first round, not getting defensive line. Is Landon Jackson the best option here at edge?
Landon Jackson, but also the offensive line. Like either guard could potentially be upgraded upon. Certainly one of the two. Donovan Jackson at this spot is pretty good value.
Yeah, I think Donovan or Landon Jackson.
One of the Jacksons.
Give me one of the Jacksons. Let's go Landon. I really want to see their defense just complete overhaul this offseason. They did a lot in free agency. I love that start. Let's add Landon Jackson here to Arizona. Now Miami's up on the clock. Get Kelvin Banks in the first. This is going to be a good thought exercise because with the Jalen Ramsey trade, are they more a potential trade? Even without him, right? You still have an option. Like if Jalen Ramsey was coming back, you still want to upgrade the other spot. If you're going to trade him, you absolutely need to think about corner. And in the first round, you could consider Barron. You could consider Will Johnson if he's available. Now we're talking Darian Porter from Iowa State. He's 24. Azariah Thomas from Florida State. I'm going to go Thomas here to the Dolphins. Young, man coverage corner. Value, not just a need pick and direct replacement for Jalen Ramsey. But yeah, that's what it is. Florida State corner for Jalen Ramsey just makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting dynamic because it's one of those ones where they really want to come out of the first two rounds with an offensive lineman and a cornerback in some order. Which way round do you do it? We gave them Kelvin Banks in the first, and now they can get Thomas. The flip side of that is you could have taken a corner in the first and had Donovan Jackson now who's still available. So it's it could work out in either direction.
If I didn't piss off Bears fans, would say a Will Johnson selection at 10. Theoretically, on draft night, you could take Will Johnson at 13, who I still think is a really good player. Workout aside, didn't run a 40, had an okay shuttle. Just watch him play football. I think his football athletic. Deep speed, you could question it. That's fair. I think Will Johnson's a very good football player, though, and is going to make a lot of plays. I think if you're a Dolphins fan, he might remind you as a different body type Xavier Howard. the boomer bust, Xavier Howard type, Asante Samuel type, with some boomer bust. So theoretically, the Dolphins could come away with like a Will Johnson and, as you said, a guard in round 2. That makes sense. But I'm going to go Thomas here, as you just did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati up on the clock here. They went Walter Nolan in the first round. Could they be a team that doubles up at edge? Could they be another linebacker team? So I think they've been a Jihad Campbell potential sneaky spot in round 1. Are they a Schwessinger spot here in round 2?
I feel like they'd run the card in for Donovan Jackson.
Oh, for Donovan. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, that is good value here. Donovan Jackson is up at 37 on the consensus board. We're sitting here at 49. You're right. He's stepping in, playing guard. Donovan Jackson to the Bengals. Keeping him in Ohio. The other really interesting pivot point in the draft here, because the Seahawks have their 2 second-rounders, and they're also sandwiched. So we have Seahawks, Broncos, Seahawks, a little old-school AFC West sandwich here, Seahawks and Broncos. So Seattle, opposite of last year, they didn't have a second-rounder, had to wait till the 3rd to fill their offensive line need. We just stole their guard, Sam. You just stole the guard that they were waiting on here in the second round. Who's next? Who's the next guard available? Because it's probably going to be
Georgia guys, right?
It's my Georgia. I mean, dude, I am telling you, I would take Tate Ratledge and Jared Wilson. I said it yesterday. Seattle's taking Georgia's. They're taking the 2 of them. I don't care. We're taking Ratledge and Wilson with 2 and 3 here. As long as Denver doesn't take them in between. And what else should I consider here if I'm Seattle? Anything else to think about? Safety, maybe? Some of the safety value, Xavier Watts. Who did I take? Campbell. So I liked Campbell as the 3-down linebacker for Mike McDonald in the first round. Jalen Knoll. Let's not forget about him just because he's dropped on the PFF board. The haters over there. Jalen Knoll is the only guy, I think, that would keep me out of thinking about the guard center options. That, and if Seattle's also going to pick at 82 and 92. So Jared Wilson, realistically, in a non-Steve draft, could be available there, even though I'd be fine taking him in the second. So I might play the Jalen Knoll game here, Sam. I might go Knoll and Ratledge as the 2 picks. You got a guard, and Knoll's adding the deep threat to JSN and Cooper Kupp. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. And we said before, just jokingly-ish, but if you're going to take a wide receiver, you want to take him with the first pick, just so you're not directly replacing DK Metcalf with a guy who's almost certainly not going to be DK Metcalf.
It's not the DK pick, right? So that's good. All right, let's do that. So go back to draft. Give me Jalen Knoll. Man, they dropped him.
I can't believe how far down he is in the PFF board.
So we got Knoll at 50. I'm going to get a starting guard at 52. Seahawks, you're going to feel great about this. Campbell, Knoll, Tate Ratledge when it's time, unless the Broncos take him. Denver's up at 51 here. Now, we went Scatterboo, baby. Scatterboo is Sean Payton's guy. How could you stop a backfield of Scatterboo and what's his face? Notre Dame from last year. Estime. A Scatterboo Estime 1-2 punch with a little Jaleel McLaughlin change of pace. How could you stop that? How could you? Now, Travion Henderson's still on the board too. Like realistically, I think teams are going to be lower on Scatterboo than me.
This is your mock draft. Stop second guessing yourself.
No, because I said it's a hybrid, it's a little hybrid of what I would do, what they would do. So you get Matthew Golden in the first. I'll go Travion here.
Wow.
Travion Henderson. I like Travion Henderson. I like him a lot. I was making a point about Scatterboo at 3. Travion Henderson going to the Broncos at pick 51. What's Perna say? Is he good with that? Is he good with a Matthew Golden, Travion Henderson? Seahawks at 52. I already told you. Give me Tate Ratledge. Get the mullet in Seattle. It's going to work. It's going to be great.
Mullet is glorious.
It is. Guy can play. Mullet aside. Add some toughness. Tate Ratledge with the DK Metcalf pick. So Seattle comes away with Jihad Campbell, Jalen Knoll, Tate Ratledge with their 3 picks. Bucs are up on the clock at pick 53. We're cooking, man. Got about 10 more picks left. Unbelievable pace till we get into a little diatribe here. All right, Bucs at pick 53. They went with Shamar Stewart. I made the point, like, a little Planet Theory stuff, him and Vita Vea on the same defensive line, going with the high upside play with that first pick at 53. Where did the Bucs go here? So safety's kind of a need for them. Christian Izzian slotted in there next to Antoine Winfield. Would Xavier Watts be good value here? They got Winfield in the second round a few years back.
Yeah, I think safety just for value. Linebacker is potentially a spot. Obviously, the endless run of Levante David, but Carson Schweschinger being available here is interesting.
I like him better than Knight, by the way. That's why I keep mentioning him over Demetrius Knight. PFF flipped Knight over Schweschinger. Schweschinger is 51 on the consensus board. Demetrius Knight is down at 72. So that's where the consensus is on those guys. Would Darian Porter, imagine if they had Darian Porter, if we wanted 2 ridiculous upside plays with Iowa State corner Darian Porter and Shamar Stewart in the same draft.
And I wonder if they're a team that would say, look, Baker Mayfield's our quarterback. We love Baker Mayfield. He is, however, not Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. So the only way of offsetting that is by improving the stuff around him, right? Like, Cade Otton's good. Is he great? Could we get a great tight end?
What's available at tight end here? Mason Taylor's
all the sort of second wave guys.
Consensus-wise, Mason Taylor's the next guy.
Yeah.
I don't hate that value there. I think he is pretty good at everything. I think Elijah Arroyo, you don't get that 3-down ability from him. I don't like him as a blocker. I like him as a big slot type. I don't know if I want to take Arroyo that high. Mason Taylor's probably the next best all-around tight end for me. I'm a Harold Fannin fan generally too, and I don't know if he goes this high or if there's a shot at him in the third. It's not a bad shout there. I think I want Schweschinger though. We're talking about it. I say his name differently every time. I'll land on the right pronunciation at some point. Give me Schwess. Just because we were considering, think about how many times we gave them Jihad Campbell.
Yeah.
Now they're going to get the consensus second best linebacker plus the upside Shamar Stewart first rounder. So give me, Schwess to the Bucs. Now, I have not read Cheesehead TV for the Packers' second pick, so I got to do this one on my own.
Got to go solo.
Went with Maxwell Hairston in the first round. I don't know enough about their draft trends, but Darian Porter here. Darian Porter might be too old for them, but Iowa State corner.
To double up at corner?
I mean, that's one trend I know that they double up at corner all the time. Just saying. That's what they do. Is it too early to double up? Maybe. It might be. Who's the next guard / tackle available? They love a good hybrid offensive lineman.
Or tackle that they can convert to a different position.
Yes. Tackle to guard. Could they be back in the linebacker market potentially?
I'd say they need defensive line depth.
We didn't give Josiah Stewart enough love on the show. Alfred Collins from Texas, maybe? A defensive tackle? Where else is the consensus? Who else is? I'm trying to see who's next on the consensus board. Mason Taylor. He might be next on the consensus board. Consensus has Jalen Milroe, Mason Taylor, Arante Ursary. Where is there? Would Ursary be a value play here for the Packers? People asking for round 3. I can't do round 3 here. We're going to do that Monday somehow. We're going through round 3. Zach Tom in the last year of his deal. Rasheed Walker in the last year of his deal. you bring Ursa, I mean, I assume they'll re-sign Zach Tom. Walker's been solid. I think they'll try to bring both back.
Yeah, the market might price him out, though. I mean, if Dan Moore Jr. is getting $20 million a year, like those guys might end up getting contract.
Already did the Jordan Morgan pick last year as a tackle to guard conversion. Just paid Aaron Banks. Is Ursery too much here? Lost TJ Slayton at defensive tackle. Maybe Alfred Collins is actually a good fit here. Let's do that.
Collins?
Yeah, let's go Alfred Collins. Again, lower. I think he's been dropped. He's at 79 on the PFF board. Alfred Collins, though, I like that second round value at defensive tackle for the Packers. Puts the Chargers up on the clock at pick 55. Chargers, we mentioned yesterday, they go Colston Loveland, tight end out of Michigan in the first round. We mentioned them as a team that has some serious needs, like edge 3 for this year, but really a starting edge for the future. They need defensive tackle help. They need playmakers, tight end or receiver. So they've got some options here. Omar Norman Lott, maybe? I know. So PFF jacked him up to 27 on their board. He's lower on the consensus. He's, where is he now? Is he that high? Is he getting higher?
He's 81 still on the consensus.
81. Okay. I liked him. I like him quite a bit. Do we just give Josiah Stewart
a lot of people
Michigan?
have talked about him as like, the mid-round guy that they would go to bat for. I haven't seen anyone pushing him as high as Trevor has, though.
Yeah, this might be too high, even just with in league circles, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if Josiah Stewart, just to give all the Michigan players to Harbaugh, which I know Chargers fans hate. JTT.
Yeah, the 2 Ohio State edges, JTT and Jack Sawyer.
Oh, man. I still like Sawyer, but I get I'm even having some hesitancy with the athleticism for both of them. Like, neither guy is a special athlete. I get how teams get to this point where I don't really want to take that in the second, or they certainly don't want to take it in the first. And it's like, do I really want to take it in the second? And then those guys end up in the third. What's the next? The next receiver for me is Jack Bash or Jalen Royals. What about Royals here for the Chargers? To go with
the receivers, I mean, they're going to be value all the way through the second and the third round. There's some fun guys.
I'm going to go Royals here. So we got a good route runner to go with Ladd McConkey, bump Quentin Johnston down a peg. You only have Mike Williams for a short time. Let's go Jalen Royals round 2. I like him. He was my receiver 7, your receiver 4. So that matches where I like him. Bills with their first of 2 second rounders here. Buffalo with my guy Chavon Ravel in the first round. Love that fit for them. Now, I didn't love Aomanar, the receiver out of Stanford, that much, but I think a lot of it's developmental upside that he has. I think he's got some. You've talked about this X receiver thing for Buffalo. Would he be good value for them as a second round flyer? It's a flyer to me.
I don't know if I love the value of him here. I think they would grab a safety in this situation.
Yeah, that's a good shout. They've brought a lot of safeties in, I believe, for their visits. Xavier Watts. I like Watts. He's a good football player. Also think you can cover tight ends for the last year of Travis Kelce here. Everything you do is try to beat the Chiefs. By the way, they should just sign Justin Simmons because Simmons will pick off Mahomes in a key situation, right? You have to bring in Justin Simmons. Let's go Xavier Watts. I like that. I think they might grab one of those defensive linemen with their second pick here. Xavier Watts to the Bills from Notre Dame. Ball magnet here. I think Winston goes lower in the real life draft. Kevin Winston, the junior. Put him on our sleeper list because I didn't know he was going to be a top 30 player for some, but put him on the sleeper list last week's show. Carolina Panthers on the board. Went Mike Green in the first round. Not sure if that's going to be realistic or not, with the character stuff, but I just was trying to make a point. Like him as a player. I think he's a top 10 caliber player in the draft. Took him for the edge rush need in the first round. Could they be in the receiver market here on the turn? Could they look at the next linebacker? Would they double up on the defensive line? Already made a lot of investment now, especially if they've added Green in the first.
Yeah, a lot of depth needs. I think they've done a pretty good job of patching up all the starting positions, or most of them. Edge rusher is still the biggest acute need until we selected Mike Green in the first round. After that, wide receiver is interesting because a lot of it's contingent on what you think Xavier Legette is going to become. And then how you kind of, if you're going to add insurance to him, like what type of receiver would you be adding?
Yeah. The one other sneaky one is it maybe Ursary and tackle. Terry Mouton getting up there in age at the end of his deal. Would that be a good future-proofing type of move here for Carolina? I don't know if they would do it, but I'm just looking at the roster option. It's not as pressing as some other needs, though.
And you've got the Ike Ekwonu decision kind of coming down in terms of his next deal.
Right. The usual tackle trending in the right direction, but, they replenished the secondary, re-signed J.C. Horn, Mike Jackson, Traven Merrig comes in. It could be linebacker too for them. They drafted Trevin Wallace in the third last year. I didn't love him as a player. I don't think he was great as a rookie. Josie Jewell's there. Do they want a linebacker next to him? Are they a Demetrius Knight spot here? And who's the best receiver option to go?
Well, it's also like what, again, it's what type of receiver you would be adding to this group.
I'm not drafting a safety this high. I like Kevin Winston Jr. I don't know if I like the safety value here.
Like Kyle Williams would be an interesting receiver to add to this group. Just dynamic speed, route running, twitchiness.
That's what I was thinking. Like I put him lower just because of the production profile, but I understand Kyle Williams and I understand the love for him. Ayo Maynor as a developmental option feels kind of redundant to Xavier Legette as a developmental option. I think Kyle Williams can do some damage with Bryce Young. Let's do that. Wonder if the doctor's listening. Kyle Williams from the Panthers to the Panthers at pick 57. Texans on the clock at pick 58. Went with Josh Simmons. Had some buyer's remorse immediately there because I really think Josh Connerly could be the pick there for the Texans as at offensive tackle. Where could Houston go here? You loved the Jack Besh pairing with the Texans the last time we talked here as a receiver.
Yeah, I mean, not specifically we went with Jack Besh, but I think generally receiver to them makes some sense just given the question marks that are there now.
Yeah, I mean, they've short term, I think there are, again, are we not banking on Tank Dell whatsoever?
You can't. I mean, he's a guy that's extremely small, lightweight, and has now suffered back-to-back season-ending injuries, the second of which was the type of injury that can change careers. So you can't bank on him coming back and being anything like the same player as before. If it happens, great, but you can't be like, no, we're not drafting a guy in the second round because we have Tank Dell. I don't think you can allow that to happen.
So Besh would be the next guy. The other position I'm looking at is defensive tackle, right? I think the Houston's rotation for this year, Sheldon Rankins, Tim Settle, Mario Edwards in kind of a hybrid role. It's not great, but like when you pair that with the outstanding edges of Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, Derek Barnett, I like that. I mean, it's a good defensive line, but Rankins and Settle, both in the last year of their deals, are they TJ Sanders, Omar Norman Lott, CJ West? Those are the next defensive tackles up on the board. I wonder, that might be a better play here for Houston.
Yeah, defensive tackle I think is a need for them. Like CJ West in this defense would be really fun.
Yeah, I just don't know if I don't think he's going in the second here. I would take him later. I mean, honestly, you could double up if you're Houston. I like Norman Lott, and I liked TJ Sanders on film enough. I don't know where I would slot them, and they'd probably be pretty close to me. Consensus-wise, Norman Lott, of course, way lower. TJ Sanders is higher. I think I might lean on the consensus here. TJ Sanders is an undersized disruptor. Let's do that. Give me TJ Sanders from South Carolina, please, to Houston. All right, where are my Ravens? Drake, who you want for the Ravens here? You're like, when you're a power commenter and listener, maybe I ask your opinion on picks, unless your name's Walt in all caps. I listen to Walt sometimes. We listen to Walt sometimes. We're a little over an hour, Sam. We started to slow down. We were making a great pace. It was a great pace. We slowed down a little bit, but we're close. We got 6 picks left. Ravens are up on the clock. Baltimore got Derek Harmon in the first round. Now Drake wants Kyle Kennard. I'm not listening. I am not taking Kyle Kennard this high. I'm not taking him. I'm not doing it. Not taking him this high. Can't do it. Just can't do that this high. I like the Derek Harmon selection. Where would they go here? Who is best available for Baltimore? The problem is, and it's going to be the challenge for the 3 round, is trying to I don't want to use that board. I want to use our board or a consensus board here. Are they Ursery here?
Yeah, offensive line would be, I think, in play for them.
Because they drafted Rosengarten in the second, re-signed Ronnie Stanley. Is Ursery too much of a tackle, not a guard? Jared Wilson's maybe center only. Arizona, he dropped on their board. I get it. I don't love him. I see the Darian.
High Charles Grant will go.
Yeah. So I see the Darian Porter suggestions. I think that's not bad. I forgot to circle back to corner for a bit. On the consensus board and the PFF board, I think there's a drop off here between Porter and the next tier of corners. Yeah, Porter at 71 on the consensus board drops to Jacob Parrish at 93. Let's go Darian Porter here from Iowa State.
Done.
I still think the safeties, I like the safety class. I don't know if I want them this high with so many value positions with solid options in this draft. That's my hesitancy at safety for certain teams here. Give me Porter, the Ravens. Lions are up on the clock. I know somebody wanted Tate Ratledge earlier. That could be a realistic play in real life. Lions got Mykel Williams in the first round, the edge out of Georgia. Oh, man, Jack Besh. Jack Besh to the Lions, man. Wouldn't that be great? Or Scattaboo to the Lions. No, we can't do it. So they got their edge. If they don't get an edge in the first round, JTT would be interesting on the turn. The interior offensive line options aren't great value-wise here. You know, if the right player was here, I would consider that. Is there another defensive lineman? I don't think they're done on the D-line. Could they be a Norman Lott type of play here with Olympic McNeil and DJ Reader?
Actually here.
Not the way I've done it. I think realistically, I mean, the shocking. It's not going to go the way I just mocked. But I think I took a lot of the players that the Lions might like here. Is this where we start to not like the draft as much?
No, I'm not. I think there's still a lot of good players that I like. I just don't love that for Detroit's particular needs, I guess. I mean, they might just take what they believe to be the best player available.
Oh, of course. So is edge rush doubling up at edge? Is that too crazy for Detroit? If I said Josiah Stewart or JTT.
Stewart would be interesting because that would give them.
That's a different player than Mykel Williams, right? So
yeah, like
JTT,
he can be your designated pass rusher, even if Mykel Williams is more of a limited, pass rushing impact. If he's just sort of more of a, big-bodied, every down guy that can chew up, 600 snaps and be a useful contributor, but not be a dynamic pressure sack artist. Josiah Stewart can step in and be that guy on a 350, 400 snap basis.
Really quick, the other guy that I liked for them throughout the entire process was Jack Sawyer, but not with Michael Williams. All right, Josiah Stewart as the pass rush upside player that you just mentioned. Man, I like that. Plus, he's in Michigan, you know? Let's do it. Josiah Stewart to the Lions here at 60. Commanders up on the clock at 61. They got Malachi Starks. I had trouble figuring out where to put Malachi Starks on the just in the first round generally. He goes to Washington at pick 61. Oh, Scattaboo staring me again. Staring me in the face. Him and Judkins. Where else for Washington? More defensive line help for them would make sense.
Yeah, they still desperately need edge rushers.
That group's starting to dwindle a little bit, especially if Sawyer and JTT, they feel, I just got excited about Josiah Stewart, but they're starting to feel less inspiring here at the late second. Good depth pieces.
Kind of depends. Like the two Ohio State edges are pretty highly ranked on the consensus board. It's just that I don't love either of them.
Yeah. No, I understand. What about Ursery here? He's still on the board, right?
Yep.
Arante Ursery could be a nice value pick. Let him compete at right tackle. Try to have Brandon Coleman or compete with Brandon Coleman, but Coleman competes at guard as well, and just find the best five. I think that's the pick here. Yeah, Minnesota tackle, Arante Ursery, going to the Commanders at pick 61. I don't know if I feel great. I mean, it's okay draft for the Commanders. I think I always feel worse, even if Malachi Starks is a good player. I feel worse with the lower value positions. That's what it is. Bills with their second round pick. They went secondary on both picks here. Shavon Ravel, cornerback out of East Carolina. Xavier Watts, the safety out of Notre Dame. Now their second rounder. Norman Lott, baby. Yeah?
That's what you're doing?
Any other suggestions from you? I like is there a receiver that makes sense? Would you Trey Harris here maybe?
Trey Harris would be interesting for them. I just don't know. It feels like they've kind of almost given up on the idea of trying to find a receiver with that particular skill set. Like they don't appear to be particularly chasing one.
No, you're just adding more depth and more options. So consensus board has Trey Harris pretty close, Jack Besh pretty close, Aya Maynor. Jordan Birch, I'm a little bit lower on him than the consensus. Really athletic edge rusher. Like if we're talking, I wouldn't take Birch this high, but when we're talking him against the Ohio State guys, the Bills' third second-round pick, the theoretical upside, he's got this 280, 290-pound body and moves really well. That's a realistic pick here for the Bills, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's in play.
I think I just talked myself into that. The other one's Demetrius Knight at linebacker. Do we want do we need an
linebacker's
upgrade?
Possibility.
A depth play for Buffalo. So then you're talking 3 straight picks on the defensive side of the ball. Which, by the way, that's where they've needed to retool with some of their veteran departures over the last 2 years, right? Matt Milano's always injury prone. Terrell Bernard is there. They like him quite a bit. So I don't know if linebacker's a massive need, but we're talking round 2. I think Birch is realistic, isn't he? Even if we ranked some guys higher.
Yeah. I mean, if
let's do that
teams, like a big part of the Ohio State sort of lack of love for those defensive linemen is that neither one of them is a particularly good athlete. They just feel okay, solid. But if you're a team that cares about the athleticism and the twitchiness and the potential, you're going to gravitate towards other players.
Let's do it. Thought exercise. He's 99 on the PFF board. He's 60-something on the consensus.
Yikes.
This is more, again, I don't know if I would necessarily do it, but I could see it, especially when you have 3 picks in the 2 rounds. You kind of take the upside player here. Chiefs at 63. They went defensive line, James Pierce in the first round. Do they double up at Tennessee with Omar Norman Lott, maybe?
Good.
Who else is in play here? I saw some people talking about Elijah Arroyo.
That would be fun.
Did they take Mason Taylor still on the board? I like Taylor as a better all-around tight end. I mean, I don't know if he's that much better than what's his face over there behind Kelsey.
I mean, any of those tight ends, I think, are natural Travis Kelce heirs.
Any offensive line potential starters here? I think we've run out of second-round offensive line options. You got BC, Ozzie Trapillo. He's 82 on the PFF board, probably close on the consensus board, but more of a third-round consensus player. Are they a safety team with Justin Reed moving on? You got Jaden Hicks for last year. Probably steps in as a starter. Jaden Hicks, Brian Cook, Mike Edwards on the roster right now.
Wyatt Milam is one of those tackle kicking into guard players that a lot of people like in this draft. Is maybe a little bit rich for him, but I think it's getting into his range.
He's up at he's at 78 on the consensus board. Again, that's not crazy. Picking him at 63. Right. He's been as high as a fringe first rounder. Maybe my doing. I had him up there. I liked him up there. Our Chiefs fans, this is where it all slows down because we're running out of good players that we like. So Milam, is this where Chiefs fans are going to be so mad? Another second, third round developmental offensive lineman. But I think he can come in and compete at guard right away.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's your left guard.
Yeah, let's do that. Give me Milam. Milam to the Chiefs to go with James Pierce. We got a couple different options there. All right, Eagles at pick 64. Wrapping it up with Philadelphia. Who do they take? Josh Carnley, offensive tackle. We're going Omar Norman-Lott here. Interior pass rusher to the Eagles. They're going trenches with both picks, offensive line, defensive line, and that's it. Round 2 in the books. I'm not saying that the Chiefs are giving up on Kingsley. I'm saying Kingsley, I don't know if he's the starting guard for this year. I think he's more of a tackle anyway. You hope he develops and maybe he eventually replaces Jawan Taylor. Like you can't bank on it. Like, this isn't about giving up, right? When you add competition, it's not about giving up. It's that you can't take chances and go out there again with a bad offensive line. And that's how Kansas City did it the last time. They said never again. So it's not about giving up. It's adding competition.
Yeah, I mean, it's buying insurance, right? Kingsley might be your starting left guard, but we don't know that he can do that. We've seen like one game at the end of the season where it didn't really matter. Like we've no idea if he can be the starting left guard for a Super Bowl caliber team. And if he can't, what's the solution? So, if he can't, this is the solution.
All right, man. That was fun. Decent pace, a little over an hour. We had a goal of an hour. We made it about 100-minute, hour and 13 minutes. Thought it was solid. Second round, it's in the books. My first round was all yesterday. Go check that out if you didn't already. Second round, let me know. What'd you like? What didn't you like? Do you like this process where we just kind of tack on a second round after our first round? Had some fun with it. Got a lot coming up this week. Dane Brugler tomorrow. We're going to start a half hour early, so 10 a.m. tomorrow on the regularly scheduled Wednesday show, just 30 minutes early. Dane Brugler coming up. We got 40 minutes with Dane to talk about the beast, all of his draft takes. One of the best, if not the best, draft analysts in the space from The Athletic. And then all your draft bets. I see some of them coming in as we speak. Check the mic at the3013team.com. Your draft bets. This is what's going to happen. This is what's not going to happen. Let us know what you guys think. Give us your boldest takes. We'll pick the best ones and put something on the line. We'll have some fun with that tomorrow. Thursday, we got cornerback rankings, regularly scheduled 10:30. And then draft week. Monster 3-round mock. We've got the viewer mock next Wednesday, and then Thursday night, Friday night, we are live for the draft, live, nonstop. Round 1, rounds 2 and 3 on Friday, and then we'll record another podcast right after that. So check the mic, hit the subscribe button, make sure you're with us, bells, do all the things, hit the thumbs up, do all the things so that you're with us throughout the rest of the draft process. Appreciate everybody for being here. We'll see you again tomorrow with more Check the Mic.